This is another episode of Christopher Reads the Help File, where I read the help. In this episode, it's Getting Started, the Autodesk Civil 3D User Interface. Topics in this section include Autodesk Civil 3D User Interface Components, the Toolspace Window, the Toolspace Prospector Tab, the Toolspace Settings Tab, the Toolspace Survey Tab, the Toolspace Toolbox Tab, and User Interface Command Reference. Autodesk Civil 3D User Interface Components. Topics in this section include to work with workspaces, about the Autodesk Civil 3D ribbon. The Autodesk Civil 3D ribbon is the primary user interface for accessing commands and features. About Civil 3D menus. While the ribbon is the primary access point for Autodesk Civil 3D commands, many commands are also available from the application menu and from context menus that are displayed when you right-click an object in Toolspace or in the drawing window. About layout toolbars. Layout toolbars let you create and or edit Autodesk Civil 3D objects. To display Autodesk Civil 3D toolbars. About the Panorama window. Use the Panorama window to display data in a grid. About the common features of the Toolspace and Panorama windows. The Toolspace and Panorama windows share several features. To work with the tool palettes, to display the content browser, to work with object tooltips. To work with workspaces. Workspaces are sets of user interface components such as ribbon tabs and panels, toolbars, palettes, and menu bars that are grouped and organized so that you can work in a custom, task-oriented drawing environment. When you select a workspace, only the user interface components specified in that workspace are displayed. You can still access other commands by entering their command names at the command line. Autodesk Civil 3D 2021 comes with a default workspace for working with Autodesk Civil 3D commands. You can use this workspace as is or modify it according to your requirements. Workspaces in Autodesk Civil 3D 2021 include Civil 3D. This workspace displays user interface components related to civil engineering design and survey features available in Autodesk Civil 3D. Drafting and annotation. This workspace displays user interface components related to AutoCAD drafting and annotation features available in Autodesk Civil 3D. 3D modeling. This workspace displays user interface components related to AutoCAD 3D modeling features available in Autodesk Civil 3D. Planning and analysis. This workspace displays user interface components related to the AutoCAD map 3D features available in Autodesk Civil 3D. For more information about using and customizing workspaces, see the AutoCAD help. To change the current workspace. You can switch to another workspace by using the Workspace drop-down menu in the Quick Access toolbar, or by using the Workspace switching button, which is located in the Application status bar. So the first one is up here, and then the second one is located down here, where you can then click on it and select the one you want. To save the current user interface configuration to a new workspace, configure your workspace. For example, you can close the tool palette if you do not want it to come up every time you start Civil 3D. You can also use the CUI command to edit the workspace using a dialog box interface. For more information, see the AutoCAD help. Click on the Workspace drop-down menu in the Quick Access toolbar and click Save Current As. In the Save Workspace dialog box, enter a new name for the new workspace. You can also select the name of an existing workspace to override it with your modified configuration. Click Save. Hey, I created one. About the Autodesk Civil 3D ribbon. The Autodesk Civil 3D ribbon is the primary user interface for accessing commands and features. Commands available from the ribbon are organized into tabs. Each tab is organized into a series of panels. The ribbon is typically turned on, displayed by default, and can be displayed or turned off by using the ribbon and ribbon close commands. There are two basic types of ribbon tabs, the static and contextual. Static ribbon tabs. Static ribbon tabs are always displayed when the ribbon is turned on. Contextual ribbon tabs. Contextual ribbon tabs are displayed automatically when you select an object or invoke an object-specific command. Contextual tabs contain commands that are related to the currently selected object. Most contextual tabs can be closed simply by deselecting the object. Multiple object select ribbons. When multiple types of objects are selected simultaneously, the multiple contextual tab is displayed in the ribbon. For example, if you select both a pipe network object and an alignment object, the multiple contextual tab is displayed. Launchpad panel. The Autodesk Civil 3D contextual ribbons include a Launchpad panel that provides access to commands that you might use in your workflow. For example, when you select an alignment object, the Alignment contextual tab is displayed. The Launchpad panel on the Alignment contextual tab provides a variety of commands that you may want to use next. For example, you may want to create a corridor, intersection, or data shortcut from the alignment. Geolocation ribbon tab. After you assign a coordinate system to a drawing, the geolocation ribbon tab is displayed in the ribbon. To learn more about basic ribbon functionality, see the AutoCAD help. About the Autodesk Civil 3D menus. While the ribbon is the primary access point for Autodesk Civil 3D commands, many commands are also available from the application menu and from context menus that are displayed when you right-click an object in Toolspace or in the drawing window. Application menu. The application menu provides access to file-related commands. For example, it provides commands that let you create, open, print, export, or publish a file. Access the application menu by clicking the application menu at the top left of the application window. So it's up here. The application menu also provides a search tool which you can use to search for commands. Only those commands that are available in the current workspace are shown and searched. So up here is the search, so I could search for maybe line command, and it'll show me all the commands that have line in it. Legacy menu bar. The menu bar is no longer displayed across the top of the Autodesk Civil 3D 2021 program window by default. You can display the menu bar by clicking the drop-down arrow on the Quick Access toolbar and selecting Show Menu, or by entering menu bar at the command line and entering 1. Hey, there it is. The legacy menu contains only Autodesk Civil 3D 2009 commands and has not been updated with the new Autodesk Civil 3D 2021 commands and features. Therefore, if you display the menu bar, it is important to understand that it does not provide access to all Autodesk Civil 3D 2021 features. About layout toolbars. Layout toolbars allow you to create and/or edit Autodesk Civil 3D objects. The Autodesk Civil 3D has the following layout toolbars: the Alignment Layout Toolbar, the Grading Creation Toolbar, the Parcel Layout Toolbar, the Pipe Network Layout Toolbar, the Pipe Point Object Creation Toolbar, and the Profile Layout Toolbar. The icons or commands available on an Autodesk Civil 3D Layout Toolbar depend on the toolbar in use. Most Autodesk Civil 3D layout toolbars include the following three icons in the upper upper right corner. So we have a pin, pins the toolbar, which places it in a fixed location and also shrinks the toolbar down to a small placeholder when the cursor moves outside the toolbar. To display the expanded toolbar, move the cursor over the placeholder to unpin the toolbar to click. Question mark displays help for the layout toolbar. Hey, goes there. The X closes the layout toolbar. For information about the icons and commands that are available from a specific layout toolbar, click the Help button on the toolbar. To display Autodesk Civil 3D toolbars. Autodesk Civil 3D provides toolbars you can use to quickly access the transparent commands. The two transparent command toolbars are displayed by default when using the Civil 3D workspace. Other toolbars that were in previous versions of Autodesk Civil 3D are no longer available. The commands on those toolbars are now available from the ribbon. Enter -toolbar at the command line. Enter transparent commands or transparent command filters and then press enter. Enter show. So those toolbars are already shown by default, and you can find them on the right-hand side. If we hover over it, it might show us the name. There it goes. Oops. Nope, it no longer does. But if I move it out, oh, it also won't show me. And so I can just drag and move it back over here. About the Panorama window. Use the Panorama window to display data in a grid. The data views that are displayed in the Panorama window are referred to as vistas. The Panorama window can display many types of data, such as the point editor vista and alignment entities vista. To conserve screen space, if more than one vista is active, the Panorama window displays a tab for each one. Click the tab containing the vista's name to bring it in to the front of the window. You can control the display of some vistas, such as Point Editor Vista. You can activate them when you want, and they remain active until you dismiss them by clicking the green checkbox. If you don't click the green checkbox, then any highlighting that happens will stay active, which is kind of annoying, because then you're like, oh, I didn't want that. And then you have to go find a way to open up the panorama. It's kind of annoying. Other vistas, such as the Alignment Entities Vista, are controlled by a specific command. This type of vista can only be activated or closed when the command is running, and its display is controlled from the command toolbar. The active drawing controls the state of the panorama window. When you switch between drawings, the panorama window either becomes inactive or shows only the vistas associated with the active drawing. You can dock the panorama window or use auto hide to reduce the amount of screen space it requires. Displaying the panorama window. Display of the panorama window is affected by several factors, such as the active drawing and the active vistas within that drawing. Under these circumstances, do this. You cannot see the panorama window or the title bar. Click the icon at the top of the Toolspace window. If the panorama window contains active vistas, it is displayed. So it's this one, I guess. And so let me so it turns it off, but it won't turn it back on. It's kind of annoying. If the button is disabled, the panorama window contains no active vistas. In some cases, you can display the panorama window by clicking a toolbar icon. The panorama window is displayed by the vista you want to work with is not displayed. If the panorama window has a tab for the vista, click the tab to display the vista. If the name tab is not visible, you must activate the vista. For instructions about activating a specific vista, refer to help for that vista. Only the panorama title bar is displayed. Auto hide is active. Move the cursor over the title bar to display the full panorama window. To disable the auto hide, click the icon on the panorama window title bar. So it's going to be this one here. And so we can click it and toggle the auto hide on and off. About the common features of the Toolspace and Panorama. The Toolspace and the Panorama windows share several features. Tabs. The Toolspace window can display up to 4 tabs: Prospector, Settings, Survey, and Toolbox. The Panorama window displays named tabs if you have more than one vista active in the window. Context menus. Right-click in the Toolspace or the Panorama window to display a context menu of available commands. Right-click a single item or select one or more items and right-click to display a menu containing commands related to the items. If you right-click an area that contains no items or data, the menu contains commands related to the window. Auto hide. This AutoCAD palette feature keeps the window active while maximizing the amount of available screen space. If auto hide is active for a window, the body of the window disappears when you move the cursor out of the window, leaving only the title bar visible. Move the cursor over the title bar to display the entire window again. The following illustration shows the Toolspace window both closed, open, with auto hide active. To activate auto hide for the Toolspace or the Panorama window, click the icon on the toolbar. To deactivate auto hide, click the icon on the toolbar. You can also right-click the title bar and use the context menu to control auto hide. For more information about auto hide, see the AutoCAD help. So in this section, there's no, I guess there is an auto hide there, and it changes its behavior. Maybe they'll cover it in moving and docking. The Toolspace and Panorama windows, like all AutoCAD palettes, can be moved and resized, and either floated in the window or docked. A docked window shares one or more edges with adjacent windows and toolbars. If a shared edge is moved, the windows change shape to compensate. To undock and relocate a window, click and drag the control bars at the top or side of the window. To prevent a window from docking while you drag it, hold down the control key. So if I move this out and I no longer want it docked, I can just hold down the control key and it won't dock over here. But if I let go of the control key, then it will dock. And then you can also right-click and uncheck the Allow Docking, and then that'll prevent it from docking on the left-hand side, or the right, or the bottom, or the top. You can quickly undock a window by double-clicking the window's control bars. For more information about working with docked and floating windows, see the AutoCAD help. To work with tool palettes. Tool palettes provide a convenient access to a variety of tools and content, but a totally inconvenient way to manage them. It's like a nightmare. Tool palettes are a standard feature in AutoCAD. You can open tool palettes using the tool palettes command or from the ribbon. Tool palettes provide access to both AutoCAD and Autodesk Civil 3D tools and content. For example, the Autodesk Civil 3D tool palettes provide access to subassemblies and assemblies that you can use in corridor design. They also provide access to civil engineering related render materials and multi-view blocks. You can drag and drop an item from a tool palette into the drawing to insert it. Any prompts that are required for inserting the item are displayed on the command line. To display the Tool Properties Palettes window and select a palette, click Home tab, Palettes panel, Tool Palettes Find. In the Tool Palettes Properties window, on the toolbar, click the Properties icon. From the bottom of the menu, select the tool palette to display. To add a subassembly or an assembly to a tool palette, click Home tab, Palettes panel, Tool Palettes. So that's going to be right here. So that opens it up. Switch to the tool palette you want to add the subassembly or assembly to, or create a new palette. Click View tab, Palettes panel, Content Browser. So that's going to be the View tab. Palettes panel. And then Design Center. And then that opens that up. Navigate to the catalog containing the desired assembly. And there's some assemblies that aren't located within the drawing. And it looks like we've got the eyedroppers gone, which is in previous versions. Once you have located the desired assembly, move your cursor over the assembly image to display options for inserting the assembly into the drawing or adding it to a tool palette. Click on the Add Tool Palette option. The assembly will be added to the tool palette that is currently open in the Tool Palettes window. For more information about working with the Content Browser and tool palettes, see the Content Browser help. To display the Content Browser. The Content Browser is a library of tool catalogs containing tools, tool palettes, and tool packages. You can publish catalogs so that multiple users have access to standard tools for projects. Metric and Imperial subassembly tool catalogs are included. You can drag and drop subassemblies onto a tool palette for easier access. So And then to find the Content Browser, you can also find it on the Home tab under Palettes. The same panel is located here. And so you can open up the catalog from this location. To work with object tooltips, proximity and rollover tooltips are displayed for Civil 3D drawing objects. You can control the display of tooltips for the drawing, for an object type, or for a specific object. A rollover tooltip displays information about an object when you hover the cursor directly over it. If the object highlighting setting is on, the object will be highlighted when the tooltip is displayed. The proximity tooltip displays information about the current location of the cursor with respect to one or more objects in the drawing. More specifically, it displays information about the proximity of the cursor to the objects. These tooltips are displayed without having to hover over the cursor over any specific entity in the drawing. And so if we create an alignment, if we hover over it, it'll be a rollover tooltip where we see some information about it. Here it's showing me the exact station where my cursor is. If I hover away from the alignment, it's going to show me the alignment information relative to where my cursor is. So it has a station value of 65.45 and an offset to the left of 32.3. The most important object information is displayed at the beginning of the tooltip. For alignments and surfaces, the tooltip displays the station offset information for the closest alignment to the cursor and the elevation of the topmost surface. If you keep your cursor in the same location, additional information is displayed in an expanded tooltip that shows up to 4 more items. Which items are displayed depends upon the objects in the drawing and whether tooltips are enabled for that object. If there are 5 alignments and 5 surfaces in the drawing, for example, the proximity tooltip will display 3 alignments and 3 surfaces. Alignments are shown in the order of proximity to the cursor. Surfaces are shown in order from highest elevation first to lowest elevation last. I guess that's good to know. To control the display of tooltips for the drawing, click the Application menu, Options on the Display tab. Select or clear the Show Tooltips and Show Rollover Tooltip checkboxes. So that's going to be Application, Options, Display tab, Clear or Show Tooltips. So show extended tooltips or just show tooltips. So there's a bunch of other options they don't mention. Note, the Show Tooltips checkbox controls the display of tooltips for the ribbon and for the dialog boxes, as well as proximity tooltips. The Show Rollover Tooltips checkbox controls the display of AutoCAD and Autodesk Civil 3D rollover tooltips. To control the display of tooltips for an object type, on the Toolspace Settings tab, right-click Object, Edit Feature Settings. In the Edit Feature Settings dialog box, under General, edit the Show Tooltips value. Note, this setting can be overridden at the object level in the Object Properties dialog boxes. Yes, display tooltips for objects of the selected type by default. No does not display the tooltips for the selected object type. So we can go to the Settings, to Alignment, and we can go to Edit Feature Settings. Under General, Show Tooltips. So we have yes and no. And so now they're gone. So I can just undo it. Oops. And then now it's back on. Edit the new entity tooltip state. On sets the default state of tooltips for new objects to be turned on. Off sets the default state of tooltips for new objects to be turned off. Click OK. And that was under General, New Entity Tooltip State, on or off. And then that should be controlling under Alignment Properties, the Show Tooltips checkbox here. So if I uncheck this checkbox, it'll no longer show tooltips for this alignment. The Toolspace window. Topics in this section about the Toolspace window. The Toolspace window is an integral component in the user interface for accessing commands, styles, and data. Use it to access the Prospector, Settings, Survey, and Toolbox tabs. Right-click each collection or item on these tabs to access commands. To open or close the Toolspace window. About the Toolspace Itemview. Use the Toolspace Itemview to display information about an item or the contents of a collection. To work with Toolspace list views. About the Toolspace window. The Toolspace window is an integral component in the user interface for accessing commands, styles, and data. Use it to access the Prospector, Settings, Survey, and Toolbox tabs. Right-click on each collection or item on these tabs to access commands. Use the Prospector tab to manage design objects, data shortcuts, and vault projects. Use the Settings tab to manage object settings, styles, and other drawing items such as point file formats, description key sets, and grading criteria sets. Use the Survey tab to manage survey projects, data, and settings. Use the Toolbox tab to access reports and subscription extensions and to add custom tools. Functions shared by the Toolspace tabs. Toolspace tabs have several controls in common, including a tree structure, context menu, and object icons. Tree structure. The Toolspace trees display items in a hierarchical structure. Any item that contains other items below it in a tree is a collection. The symbols displayed in the tree node to the far left of each collection names gives you information about the display of the items in the collection. The plus sign or icon, the collection contains items that are not displayed. Click the plus icon to expand the tree and display the items. The minus icon, the items contained in the collection are displayed. Click the minus icon to collapse the tree and hide the items. The black ball, the collection contains items that cannot be displayed in the tree. Click the collection name to list the items in a Toolspace item view. For more information, see about the Toolspace Itemview. The out-of-date icon, I guess. The collections data needs to be refreshed. Right-click the collection and click Refresh. The shortcut icon. The item is a reference to an item located elsewhere in the tree. Double-click the reference to navigate to the actual item. For example, this icon appears next to a drawing in the Projects node when that project drawing is open. You can then double-click the icon to move to that drawing in the Open Drawings node in the Prospector Tree. And then if there's no icon, the collection contains no items. Context menus. Display a context menu for any collection or item in the tree by right-clicking the item. The menu contains commands that apply to the item you selected in the tree. Icons. A row of icons appears at the top of each Toolspace tab. For more information about these, see about the Prospector tab icons, about the Settings tab icons, and about the Survey tab icons, and about the Toolbox tab icons. Tree view. Use the drop-down list above the tree to control which items are displayed within the tree. So that's going to be here, and you can do it master view, just see the active drawing, and then the same thing here, master drawing, or master view, you can see everything. If you change it to active drawing view, it will only show the current drawing. When you select items in the tree, additional information may be displayed in an item view, which is shown in a pane next to or beneath the main tree. You can adjust the size of the item view by moving the bar that separates the view from the tree. So if I click on surfaces, maybe, or alignments, because I have some alignments, you'll then see them here. There's a button here that'll toggle it, but if it's docked, it won't let you toggle it. And so now that it's not docked, it'll then allow me to toggle it. And so now it's going to be displayed on the right-hand side, and then I could toggle it back and forth. For more information, see about Toolspace item views. Copying items in the Toolspace trees. You can copy some items in the Toolspace trees by dragging them into another drawing or collection. Tutorial exercise, understanding the Toolspace. So I guess if I wanted to, I should be able to drag that to the offset alignments. Looks like the UI is there, but it's not doing it. If I do this, I can take the alignments, maybe alignment 1, move it to drawing 1, and that does not work. So I think this might be a feature that used to work, but it no longer works, or at least I've never been able to get it to work. To open or close the Toolspace window, click Home View, Home or View tab, Palettes panel, Toolspace. And so that's going to be this big button here. So that's going to toggle it on or off. At least one Toolspace tab must be in the open state, or the Toolspace button is grayed out. And so these are going to be these 4 buttons. And so now it's grayed out. If the tabs you want are not open in the Toolspace window, use the following ribbon buttons to open them: Prospector, Settings, Survey, and Toolbox. When the Toolspace tabs are in the open state, the ribbon buttons have a blue background. When the Toolspace tabs are in the closed state, the background color of the ribbon buttons match the background color of the ribbon. Hey, they do. If only the Toolspace title bar is displayed, move the cursor over the title bar to display the full Toolspace window. To disable auto hide, right-click the Toolspace title bar and click auto hide to remove the check mark next to it. So there's auto hide. So I can then right-click here and then uncheck the checkbox. And now it won't hide. Contents of a tab are out of date. Right-click the window and click refresh. Hey, there's refresh. If you want to close the Toolspace window, click the X in the Toolspace window or click the Toolspace button on the ribbon. Tip: closing the Toolspace window can help improve overall performance as well as save memory. So it is recommended to close the Toolspace window when it is not necessary to have it open. Likewise, it is recommended to close the Toolspace tabs, Prospector, Settings, Survey, or Toolbox when you do not need to have open. I guess that's right. About the Toolspace item view. Use the Toolspace item view to display information about an item or the contents of a collection. The item view is a secondary pane displayed beside or below the tree. To display the item view, click on the item name. When the Toolspace window is floating, you can change the orientation of the item by clicking the switch button window, I guess, at the top of the Toolspace. To see the item view, you may need to increase the size of the Toolspace window or move the bar that separates the item view from the Prospector Settings or Survey tree. To move that bar that separates the item view from the Prospector Settings or Survey tree, you must first select a collection that displays an item view. An item view takes one of the following forms depending on the selected item. List view. List view is a table displayed by the Toolspace trees for some items. In some cases, the information can be edited. The following illustration shows a Prospector list view of points. When the Toolspace is docked, the list view is displayed below the data tree. When the Toolspace is undocked, you can display the item either below the data tree or to one side of the data tree by clicking the Item View Orientation button. Graphical view. A graphical view displays an image of the selected item. The following illustration shows a Prospector graphical view of a parcel. The graphical item previews, you first click on the Item Preview button on the Prospector tab. So that's going to be this one here. So you can click on that and turn it on or off. Right-clicking on the graphical preview to display a context menu allows you to manipulate the image using commands such as pan and zoom. Not all items on the Prospector and Settings or Survey trees have item views associated with them. To work with Toolspace list views. To select items in a list view. To work with an item in the list view, you must first select it in the list view by clicking the icon at the far left of the row. So for instance, if I am here, I'd want to select the icon here. That way I don't select anything else. Do one of the following. Select additional contiguous items, hold down the Shift key and click the row containing the last item. Like that. If you want to select an additional non-congruous items, hold down the Control key and select the items you want to select. To select every item from the current item to the beginning of the list, hold down the Shift key and press Home. So Shift and then Home. To select every item from the current item to the end of the list, hold down the Shift key and do End. Good to know. To customize a list view, you can change the appearance of a list view by hiding columns, changing column positions, and changing column widths. Right-click any column heading in the list view to display a context menu that shows you all the available columns. So here I can do that, and there's a checkbox. The value in a shaded column cannot be edited. If a display column is not in use, it contains a hatch pattern instead of the data. So we have description. So I guess the hatch pattern is just the different color. To show the names of all the columns that can be included in the list view, right-click any column heading. Check marks indicate which columns are currently displayed in the list view. I already did that. To show all columns in the list view, click Show All Columns. So I can right-click and hide this column. To bring it back, I can right-click and Show All Columns. To hide a column, right-click the column heading of the column you wish to hide and click Hide Column. Right-click any column heading to display the column heading context menu and clear the checkbox. Now style is gone. The list view is displayed without the column. To show a hidden column, right-click over any column heading to display the column heading context menu and select the column you want to show. To change the position of a column in the list view, drag the column heading to the right or left. To adjust the width of a column, move the cursor to the margin of the column heading until it changes to the move icon. Drag the column margin right or left. To change the context of a column in a list view, use the column heading menu to change all the cells in a list view column to the same value. For example, you can assign the same elevation to all the points in a list view. In Toolspace, on the Prospector Setting or Survey tab, click an item to display its list view. Note, some items do not have list views associated with them. If any items in the list view are selected, press Escape to clear the selection. Right-click on the column heading of the column you want to change and click Edit. In the edit box that is activated, enter the new value and press Enter. Didn't know you could do that. To copy items from a list view, select the items you want to copy, right-click to display the list view context menu for the selected items, click Copy to Clipboard or Copy Value to Clipboard. The Copy to Clipboard command copies all of the displayed columns, including the columns without values. It does not copy hidden values. The Copy Value to Clipboard command copies the context of the cell that your mouse is currently hovering over. You can then paste the clipboard contents into another file. So here I can copy value to clipboard, and then I can go in and paste it. And then the other option is to right-click, copy to clipboard, right-click and paste, and it'll bring in all the information. The Toolspace Prospector tab. About the Toolspace Prospector tab. You can use the Prospector tab to manage objects, to manage project and drawing objects. Right-click collections and objects to access commands. On this tab, all of the objects in a drawing or project are arranged in a hierarchy. The Prospector Tree contains the following top-level collections, which can be viewed using the master view. Open drawings, data shortcuts, projects. Note, the projects collection in the Prospector Tree is not visible if you have not installed Autodesk Vault client and server applications. During a drawing session, the projects collection lists the projects that are available after you have logged into an Autodesk Vault server and Vault database, and then drawing templates. Controlling the items displayed in the Prospector Tree. Use the drop-down list at the top of the Prospector tab to control which items are displayed in the Prospector. Master View displays all project and drawing items, including drawing templates. The name of the active drawing is highlighted. Active Drawing View displays only items in the active drawing. If you switch to another drawing, the tree is updated to reflect the new drawing. The Prospector Tree. Use the Prospector Tree to manage and access drawing and project objects. The following illustration shows an expanded Prospector tree for a drawing. Standard context menu commands are available for many Prospector tree items and collections. To display the context menu, right-click a collection or item in the Prospector tree. The following commands are available on the Prospector context menu whenever they are applicable to the selected items. Select this context menu command if you want to do this. Properties. View or edit the properties of the selected item or items. Edit. Edit the selected items or items. Delete. Delete the selected item or items. Select. Selects the item or items in the drawing. Zoom to. Zoom the drawing to the selected item or items contained in the collection. Pan to. Pan the drawing to the selected items or items contained in the selected collection. Create folder. Create a folder within an object collection which you can use for organizing objects. You can drag and drop existing objects into the folders, and you can place folders inside other folders. Export land.xml. Export information using land.xml. Refresh. Update the items displayed in the Prospector tree. Note, some Prospector context menus do not include all the commands in the preceding table. Also, a Prospector command context menu can contain additional commands that are related to the selected collection or item, including project management, access, control commands. About the Prospector tab icons. Use the icons at the top of the Prospector tab to control whether item previews are enabled, to control the orientation of the item and list views, to display the Panorama window, and to access help. Toggles the Toolspace item preview display. Click to enable previews. When item previews are disabled, the Show Preview menu in an item's context menu is disabled. Switches the orientation of the item and list views, available only when the Toolspace is undocked. Switches the display of the Panorama window. If the Panorama window does not contain any active vistas, this button is not enabled. Displays help. And so if I go to Prospector, these are the buttons up here. It looks like it's missing the refresh button. So it doesn't appear to be active right now, but maybe if I go to a drawing, it was active for a second. Maybe because I was moving something. To open or close the Toolspace Prospector tab, click the Home View or View tab, Palettes panel, Prospector. So that's going to be this one here. That'll toggle it on and off. When the tab is in the open state, the button has a blue background. When the tab is in the closed state, the background color of the button matches the background color of the ribbon. When creating any of the following commands, the Prospector tab is opened automatically. Create sheets, edit in storm sewers, export to land.xml, point group properties, clicking the Edit Pipe Network Vistas button on the Network Layouts toolbar. And this is where I'm going to stop for this. In the next video, I'll cover the rest of the topics. And this is Christopher Reads the help file.